J'ai l'honneur de donner la parole à Madame Linde, ministre des Affaires étrangères de la Suède, représentant la nouvelle présidence de l'OSCE en 2021 pour son allocution. Madame Linde a été nommée ministre des Affaires étrangères de la Suède en 2019. Avant cette nomination, Madame la ministre a été ministre des Affaires européennes et du Commerce de 2016 à 2018, une période marquée par les négociations de Brexit avec le Royaume-Uni. Avant de devenir ministre du Commerce extérieur chargé des affaires nordiques en 2019. Auparavant, Madame la ministre a également occupé le poste, entre autres, de secrétaire d'État au ministère de la Justice et conseiller politique au ministère des Affaires étrangères. Madame la ministre, vous avez la parole.
Merci beaucoup. Excellencies, I would like to thank you for inviting me to this event to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Charter of Paris, one of the true milestones in European security cooperation and a centerpiece of the European security order. It gives me great pleasure to celebrate it together with the OSCE Parliamentary Assembly, which plays such an important role to strengthen democracy and security in our region. When looking back at the Charter of Paris, one can feel the sense of hope that existed when it was adopted. After the decades-long Cold War, a new era for security in Europe was dawning, built on respect for democracy, human rights, rather than a balance between rival global powers and their so-called spheres of interest. Through the Charter of Paris, new institutions essential for our security were founded, such as the Office of Free Election in Warsaw, today ODIHR, the Conflict Prevention Center in Vienna, and of course, the OSCE Parliamentary Assembly. Next year, Sweden will assume the chair of the OSCE, 28 years after we last held this office. We take on this responsibility in a political landscape very different from that of 1993. If the early 90s promised the end of history through the spread of liberal democracy, today we see advances in democracy and fundamental rights being challenged systematically, also within the OSCE region. In 1990, the Charter of Paris, we agreed that in order to strengthen peace and security among our states, the advancement of democracy and respect for and effective exercise of human rights were indispensable. It is clear that the backsliding of democracy and fundamental rights and freedoms that we have seen in recent years has also security implications. A number of conflicts which still remain unsolved after the breakup of the Soviet Union. We have also seen new serious conflicts emerge on our continent. The OSCE has played and continues to play a central role in the efforts towards their resolution. The security landscape has also shifted significantly since 1993. Sweden joined an EU which has since been enlarged to include a number of states previously behind the Iron Curtain. Many of these have also chosen to join NATO. That this development was even possible lies in the notion that all states have the right to freely choose their security arrangement, a key element of the Charter of Paris. The development over the past 3 decades shows that given the chance, peoples and states choose freedom over tyranny and cooperation over conflict. The European Security Order, with the Helsinki Final Act and the Paris Charter at the center, provides the framework for achieving this. I believe that there is no coincidence that nearly all serious challenges to our security stem from situations where fundamental principles of the Helsinki and Paris are not respected, be it in the violation of Ukraine's territorial integrity or the lack of respect for democracy and human rights that has led to the protesters after the election in Belarus. The OSCE has the tools to support participating states in living up to their commitments from Helsinki and Paris. We have also designed tools to specifically address different phases of the conflict cycle in conflicts and crises within our region. The OSCE Special Monitoring Mission in Ukraine is one such tool. The offer by Chairperson-in-Office Rama and myself to facilitate a genuine dialogue between the regime and the opposition in Belarus is another example of the role that the OSCE can play. Of course, without genuine political will from those involved in conflict, lasting progress will hard to reach. This is the reason that we have made it a priority for us as chairs of the OSCE next year to defend the European security order and its fundamental principles. In an environment where the prospects for consensus are limited, we see it as essential to build on principles agreed by all to achieve security for all. In short, we want to go back to basics. The other two priorities for our time as chair, to strengthen the comprehensive concept of security and to contribute to solving the conflicts in our region, are in many ways part and parcel of our commitment to the security order. The priorities are interlinked, as there can be no sustainable security without the equality between women and men, the respect for democratic norms, and the universal enjoyment of human rights. These principles will therefore influence our work in all three dimensions of security. The OSCE is uniquely positioned to support the participation states to live up to the commitment of the Charter of Paris and the Helsinki Final Act. Not only do we have the accountability mechanism in the Permanent Council and the early warning provided by the autonomous institution, ODIHR, the Freedom of Media representative, and the High Commissioner of National Minorities. The Parliamentary Assembly also fills a fundamental role in supporting the implementation of the comprehensive concept of security. The experience that you, the delegations from national parliaments, have from the democratic process of the participating stance is important in supporting dialogue across the OSCE. Your participation in ODIHR election observation mission also adds value through your first-hand experiences of having participated in elections yourself. As chair next year, I want to continue my close contacts with the Swedish delegation to the OSCE Parliamentary Assembly and also interact with all of you. I look forward to the winter meeting in Vienna in February, and I hope that the pandemic will then be under control so that we can meet in person. Beyond our chairpersonship, I look forward to the principle in the Charter of Paris living on also for the coming 30 years. Hopefully, when our successors meet in similar event 30 years from now, all of Europe will enjoy peace and prosperity. If this is the case, the OSCE will have truly made a difference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Minister, and thank you very much for the role that you are going to assume next year. We look forward to working with you. Indeed, you have a very active delegation in the OSCE Parliamentary Assembly. So we look forward to seeing you, hopefully already in February, but definitely in our annual session in Bucharest in July 2021.